Very good morning, students, and a warm welcome for the digital learning classroom of General Science. Student, first of all, I hope you all have enjoyed Ganpati Bappa's celebration and you all have wished, prayed to Bappa that please make this all pandemic vanish from our universe, from our country, so that we can once again lead a normal, happy life and we can enjoy in the school. I hope all of you might have done this. I have also prayed to God that God, please let us live a healthy, normal life like earlier. We are missing each other, we are missing attending the functions, attending the parties, attending the get togethers, and the life has just become stagnant in between the four walls of our houses. So now it is high time. Let's hope and once again pray to God that everything becomes normal and our school opens at the earliest so that we both, teachers and students, can enjoy with each other in the live classrooms. Yes, students? So, today we are going to start with lesson number 10, Cell and Cell Organelles. Dear students, this is not a new topic for you. In 7th standard also, we had studied about the plant cell, animal cell, and the different organs which are present inside the cell. We have also studied about the differences between the plant cell and the animal cell. This year, we are going to study about the cell, plant cell, animal cell, and the different organelles present inside the cell in detail. We are going to study their structure, the functions of the cell as well as the organs. So students, let's start with our new lesson, lesson number 10, Cell and Cell Organelles. We had studied that cell is the structural and functional unit of living organisms. Whether it is a unicellular organism or a multicellular organism, whether it is a microorganism or a macroorganism, each and every organism is made up of cell. And according to the functions, the cell are of different sizes, they have different structures. So let's revise the plant cell and the animal cell. You can see the picture of plant cell and the animal cell. The very outermost covering of the cell is called as the cell membrane in animal cell, whereas in case of plant cell it is called as cell wall, right? Then the inner membrane in plant cell is called as the cell membrane. The liquid which is present inside the cell is called as the cytoplasm. Then you can see the different organelles like nucleus. Inside the nucleus, nucleolus is present, and the outer membrane of the nucleus is continued with the endoplasmic reticulum. Then ribosomes are there, vacuoles are there, mitochondria, which is also called as powerhouse is also present. Then Golgi apparatus is there. In plant cell, the plastids are there, chloroplast, which gives green color to the plants, and in animals, centrioles, lysosomes are present. So this is all about the structure of plant and animal cell. Now see students, on the same page a table is given where the components are given, animal cell and plant cell, and there are certain fill in the blanks. The columns which are in blue, they are the blanks which are given in the table, but I have written the answers and let's go through it. Cell membrane is present in animal cell and it is present in plant cell also. Cell wall is absent in animal cell but present in plant cell. Lysosomes are again only present in animal cell but they are absent in the plant cell. Plastids are opposite. They are present in plant cell but absent in animal cell. Endoplasmic reticulum, which is also called as ER, is present in both. Vacuole is also present in both, but in animal cell it is small, whereas in plant cell it is very big. Golgi complex are also present in both. In plant cell they are scattered, and mitochondria, which is called as powerhouse, is also present in both animal and plant cell. So you can just fill up the table where the blanks are given. Then we are going to start with the components of the cell wall, the outermost covering, which is only present in the plants but absent in the animals, is called as the cell wall. Now, cell wall, it is an elastic and strong membrane present around the cell membrane. In plant cell, inner to the cell wall is the plasma membrane or the cell membrane. So outside the plasma membrane or the cell membrane, cell wall is present, and it is primarily composed of cellulose and pectin. You can see the pectin and cellulose microfibers are there which make the cell wall. Then the function of the cell wall. What is the function of the cell wall? It gives protection to the cell as well as it gives support to the cell, and it also prevents the excess amount of water inside the cell. So these are the functions of the cell wall: to support and protect the cell, and it prevents the entry of excess water. Next is plasma membrane or cell membrane, which is present in plant cell inner to the cell wall, whereas in animal cell it is the outermost covering of the cell. It is a very thin, fragile and elastic covering that separates the components of the cell, organelles of the cell, from the outer environment, right? So it separates the organelles and the outer environment. Then what is the structure of the plasma membrane? Plasma membrane is made up of protein molecules and they are embedded in between the two layers of phospholipids. You can see the lipid bilayer. So these are the two lipid layers, and in between them the protein molecules are present. This cell membrane is also called as a selectively permeable membrane. Selectively permeable membrane. Permeable means which allows the substances to go through. Selective means it only allows certain substances to enter the cell, whereas it prevents other substances. It does not allow everything inside the cell. Now, due to this property of the cell membrane, only the water molecules, salt, oxygen, they enter the cell, and at the same time carbon dioxide is thrown out of the cell membrane. So this is how the cell membrane is formed. Then, as I said, it performs two main functions. First is it allows only selected substances to enter and exit, and second is it helps in the process of homeostasis. That is, if any change takes place outside the cell, the inner environment of the cell does not change. It remains undisturbed. Okay, so this is all about plasma membrane or cell membrane. Then we have to come across certain processes which we are going to study. We should know what are they. Now, cyto, as you know that cyto means cell. Cytology is the study of the cell. The branch of science in which the cell is studied is called as the cytology. Now, there are two types of processes taking place in the cell. One is which consume the cellular energy, and the other are which do not consume cellular energy. Okay. So, first we will start with the processes in which the cellular energy is consumed, is used. First process is endocytosis. Endo means inside. Now, when the food is taken inside, or the other substances, when they are taken inside the cell from the outer side, it is called as endocytosis, and this needs energy from the cell. Next is exocytosis. Exo means outside, right? Cyto means cell. So, outside the cell, the substances which are thrown out of the cell or which are excreted as waste materials out of the cell, that process is called as exocytosis, and this also consumes the cellular energy. Then we have to start with the other processes which do not consume cellular energy. These are again two. First is diffusion. Now, diffusion means the entry or exit of small molecules like carbon dioxide or oxygen, right? So, if oxygen and carbon dioxide, they enter inside, oxygen enters inside and carbon dioxide goes outside, this process is called as diffusion, and this does not consume any cellular energy. Next process is osmosis. Osmosis means the traveling of water from a part of less concentrated water towards high concentrated of water, right? And this takes place through a selectively membrane which only allows certain substances. Now, the process of osmosis can take place in three possibilities. As you can see in the picture, it can be hypertonic, it can be isotonic, and it can be hypotonic. So, first we will start with isotonic solution. Isotonic means the medium outside the cell and the inside of the cell has same proportion of water. Neither the water enters inside nor the water goes outside the cell. So, this is called as isotonic. Iso means same. Hypotonic. Hypotonic solution means endosmosis. Now, when I say endo means inside. That means the water enters inside, right? And the process of entering of water takes place inside the cell from outside environment. And thus, the solution is called as hypotonic solution. So, here the cell has less water than the outside environment, and so the water enters the cell, right? Because from higher to lower, this is the principle of water moving. So, the inside water is less and outside is more. So, the water from outside moves inside the cell, and after some time the cell swells up. Very simple example, raisins or kishmish, munakka, right? If you soak them in water, what happens? Yes, they get swollen. They become bigger in size. Why? Because they absorb water from outside, right? So, this is hypotonic solution. Third one is hypertonic solution, or it is also called as plasmolysis. Now, here what happens? The cell has more water than the outside, and so the water comes out of the cell, right, through the plasma membrane. That is why it is called as plasmolysis. Now here we can understand it with the help of an example. Now if we take a thick sugar solution and we cut the fruit pieces, what will happen? The fruit pieces will shrink after a while. Why? Because from inside the water is going out, right? So this is called as plasmolysis. Next, we are going to start with cytoplasm. What is cytoplasm? Plasma means liquid. Cyto means cell. So the liquid which is present inside the cell is called as cytoplasm, and it is in this cytoplasm all the cell organelles, whether it is nucleus or vacuole or Golgi body or plastids, every organelle is embedded in this cytoplasm. Now cytoplasm is the liquid which is present in between the plasma membrane and the nucleus, right? Now it is a quite thick substance, and all the organelles are present inside this cytoplasm. Now cytoplasm is the place, is the medium where all the chemical reactions of the cell takes part. Now there are certain part of the cytoplasm where the cell organelles are not present, right? So that part is called as the cytosol, right? Cytoplasm is the liquid which is present inside the cell, and in these liquid the organelles are embedded, but there is certain space where this cell organelles are not present, and that is called as cytosol. Okay. So cytoplasm is the fluid between plasma membrane and nucleus. It is a medium for cellular reactions. The part of the cytoplasm where the organelles are not present is called as cytosol, and in animal cells it is granular, that is the granules are present and it is quite dense, that is thick, whereas in plant cells it is thin and generally it is present more at the periphery or the outermost layer of the cell. Next, we are going to start with the cell organelles. Now, what are cell organelles? Cell organelles are the specialized subunit having specific function, right? If you remember, in the beginning of the lesson, I had shown you the plant cell as well as the animal cell. And in both the plant cell and animal cell, the different cell organelles were present. Some were common in both, some were present only in animal cell, and some were present only in plant cell. Now, all these cell organelles have to perform some specific function, right? Each and every organelle is having one or the other function, right? So they are also called as organs of cell. And how to observe these cell organelles? We cannot observe it under a normal microscope, but we have to observe it under an electron microscope, because we know that cells are very small, they are microscopic, and then these organelles are still smaller than the cells. So we need an electron microscope to observe these cell organelles. Now let's start with the cell organelles, structure and function. We will study one by one. Now the very first one is nucleus. You know, nucleus is the boss of the cell. Like, who is the boss of our school? Who is the head of our school? Principal madam, right? So principal madam is controlling all the school activities, right? She takes the decision. Similarly, the nucleus is the main controller of the cell. It controls all the activities of the cell. Now, the cell, the activities of the cell is controlled by the nucleus. Now, if we observe this nucleus under an electron microscope, we will see that it is covered by a double membrane. As you can see in the picture also, it is having a double membrane and the pores are there, and these pores, they allow the entry and exit of the substances in and out of the nucleus. Inside the nucleus, you can see a round organ present, that is called as the nucleolus, right? Then certain chromatin fibers are there. They are very fine thread-like structures, and afterwards they become thick, short chromosomes when the cell division takes place. Okay, and it is due to these chromosomes or the chromatin thread material that the characteristics are transferred from one generation to another. So now what are the functions? First function of nucleus is to control the metabolic activities and cell division. Whatever chemical reactions takes place inside the cell, that is controlled by the nucleus, and it also controls and initiates the cell division. The cell divides into two. Second is, it is involved in transmission of hereditary characters. See students, you might have got the compliments, "Arey, your eyes are like your mother, your hair is like your father, your complexion is like your grandmother," right? So, how you have those similarities? Because the chromosomes or the chromatin material which is present inside the nucleus, it transmits, it transfers the characters from one generation to another, or from the parents to the children. So, second function is it is involved in transmission of hereditary characters. Next organelle we are going to start is endoplasmic reticulum. Now, if you remember, I had explained you that the outer membrane of the nucleus, you can see in the picture also, the outer double membrane of the nucleus is continued in the form of the endoplasmic reticulum. It has a net-like structure of different tubes, right? These tubes are connected with each other and they are filled with a fluid. So, this endoplasmic reticulum, it connects the nucleus with the outer environment of the nucleus, right? Now this ER or endoplasmic reticulum are of two types. One is smooth endoplasmic reticulum and the other is rough endoplasmic reticulum. Here you can see small bead-like structures on the endoplasmic reticulum. These are the ribosomes. So, on some of the endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes are present. They are called as rough endoplasmic reticulum, and some are smooth or they don't have the ribosomes, and thus they are called as smooth ribosomes. Then what are the functions? The very important functions are performed by the endoplasmic reticulum. First is, it forms the framework that supports the cell. Second one is, it conducts proteins from one place to another with the help of these interconnected tubules. And third, very important, is that toxins which enter inside our body through food or through water or through air, and they are flushed out of the body with the help of the endoplasmic reticulum. So, it performs a very, very important function. We had finished with nucleus and endoplasmic reticulum. the two important cell organelles, and the time is almost up. So the remaining organelles we are going to study in the next science period. So till then, students, take care of your family and friends, and please keep completing your workbooks. Okay, and now we have our specific YouTube channel, so you can copy down the answers as and when you have time, because those lectures are always there on your YouTube. Okay, thank you, take care, bye.